Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our GBA Season 7 Week 9 team builder for none other than Lars, aka El Sizzler, coach of the Borussia Donphan. We have played Lars in the past, both last season and this season. We have been able to defeat him 2-0, I believe both times. He is a relatively familiar opponent, but that does not make him a very easy opponent, not only because he is a relatively good battler, but also because he has made a couple changes to his team that are not to my liking. They, I think, benefit him, and they hurt me a little bit because now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to break through. However, I believe I have built a team of 6 that will be able to take on whatever team of 6 he decides to bring. Before we get into our team, however, let us just go over the roster that Lars has. It's going to be very similar, except for two things that you'll see differently. He has Zygarde, Latias, Nihilego, Heracross, Donphan, Lucario, Primarina, Rotom Heat, and Celebi, Tornadus, Incarnate, and Crawdaunt. So as you can see, they're similar team, but as you can see, he has Heracross instead of, I forget what he had before that, but he has Heracross now, and he has Celebi instead of Decidueye. So the big thing that he did was he gained some switch-ins to his, Zygarde. Like, if you remember from the last game that I had, his team was extremely weak to Choice Banded Zygarde. The only thing that he could have brought in order to switch into it would have been Decidueye, but he actually decided to not bring Decidueye that game. But this time he has two reliable switch-ins in Heracross and Celebi. Neither of those take very much from 1,000 arrows. And Celebi can outspeed me, possibly hit me with something. Heracross can be scarfed and possibly pick me off with a close combat if I'm weakened. If it's banded and I try and switch on it, that's going to hurt a lot. So the changes that he made definitely benefit him a little bit more. Heracross is a very scary Pokemon for me to deal with. Celebi can be very, very annoying, especially because I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. But regardless, I believe I've built a team of 6 that will be able to take on whatever he decides to bring. So without further ado, let's get into the team. This is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter team builder just because a lot of the Pokemon that I'm bringing are the same as the last time that I fought him. However, there are some key differences that I want to go over. If you watch the team builder against Lars last time, you're going to see that you're going to see all of the similarities. Regardless, let's start off with our Miltank. This is the same set that I brought against him last time. Body Slam, actually no, not exactly the same. Body Slam, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and Milk Drink. I don't think he's going to be bringing Magnet Rise on his Lucario, so I decided to go with Earthquake. It's nice just because it hits the Lucario as well as the Zygarde a little bit harder. I can take an Aura Sphere, I can take a close combat from either of them as long as they're unboosted, and then I can hit them kind of hard with the Earthquake. Not very hard, but I can at least get some damage off onto them. And Lucario, if it hits me with a close combat, I will be able to knock out with the Earthquake afterwards. Zygarde I will not, because Zygarde is a piece of shit, but this will at least be able to make it so that I can hit it a little bit harder. I did kind of want to run Thunder Wave just because that helps cripple Zygarde a little bit more if it's like a setup variant. But A, I can miss, and B, if he's like a sub Zygarde or something like that, I don't want to like go for Thunder Wave and then not be able to break its sub, because that's pretty much game over right there. Stealth Rock and Milk Drink. Stealth Rock obviously just for rocks, and Milk Drink just to keep myself healthy. Relatively standard, and again, it's the same set that I brought last time. Just to take a fighting move from the Lucario or the Zygarde, like I said, I can take an Aura Sphere. And now, because he has Heracross, Chople Berry is even more useful, because I can now take a close combat, hit it with a Body Slam, do some good damage to it after its defense drop, and then possibly get a para on it, which will be very, very useful. But that's our Miltank. Like I said, same thing that we were bringing last time. Once again, similar thing that we are bringing this week is going to be an Assault Vest Jirachi. We have Iron Head, Fire Punch, U-Turn, and Grass Knot, the exact same moveset, exact same spread, everything is exactly the same. He was able to shut this down kind of well with Rocky Helmet Donphan. However, if I can play around that, this is going to be very useful. I need this in order to switch into the Latias, as well as the maybe a special Tornadus Incarnate, as well as the Primarina, as well as possibly the Nihilego. I'm not running fully Spadef because, like I said in the last team builder versus Lars, I need coverage for his team. I need Iron Head, I need Fire Punch in order to hit the Lucario as well as the Zygarde. I need U-Turn and able to gain initiative against the things that I can't really touch all that well, and I need Grass Knot so that I can hit things like the Crawdaunt as well as the Donphan, which is a very big one. So, once again, this is the Jirachi set. If you want to hear the full explanation behind the set, check out the original video versus Lars. Next up, once again, same set. Greninja, Life Orb, Torrent, Waterfall, Night Slash, Gunk Shot, and Grass Knot. Physical Greninja puts in a lot of work versus his team. I'm able to hit like an Assault Vest Zygarde a lot harder. I can hit a Latias a little bit harder with Night Slash than I could with Dark Pulse. I knock out the Nihilego unless he's Pasho Berry, whereas if I had Hydro Pump, he could still live it if he was Assault Vest or the least little bit bulky. The Donphan, I still hit very hard with Waterfall as well as Grass Knot anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. I can still hit the Lucario basically just as hard. The Primarina is very important because with full attack investment, my Gunk Shot is going to do a lot more. The last time he was fully physically defensive Kebia Berry Primarina. I don't know if he'll bring the same exact set. I'm hoping not, because that thing is actually really annoying for my team, because my entire roster has nothing. Like, I don't switch into it well, and then that set just makes it so that I can't knock it out with anything, and I have to get damage off onto it before I can do anything. But, regardless, we have the offensive Gunk Shot for that. Hopefully I'll be able to do a lot of damage to it. And then he has the Rotom Heat. I obviously hit with Waterfall. Celebi I can hit with super effective Night Slash. Tornadus I can hit with Waterfalls. And the Crawdaunt I do have the Grass Knot there for. So that's our Greninja. Like a similar set. Like I said, same exact set that I brought against him last time. Hopefully it'll put in a lot of work. Unfortunately, it got cut short early on in the game because of that physically defensive Kebia Berry Primarina, so I have to watch out for that. But if he's not that, then this is actually a very, very big threat to his team. And if I do have my Jirachi around, I will be able to switch into that Primarina with that Jirachi. So that's our Greninja. Now moving on to the last Pokemon that is not going to be changed. This is going to be our Salazzle. This Salazzle actually didn't end up hitting the field in the first game that we ended up playing, but I think it can put in a decent amount of work versus his team. The speed tier is really nice versus his team. It outspeeds absolutely everything, which is really nice. So we are Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, HP Ground, and Nasty Plot. That's very, very nice. Sludge Bomb, I'll be able to do a lot of damage to things like the Primarina as well as the Celebi, which is very nice. I'll be able to hit the Tornadus and Crawdaunt neutrally, which are very good. Poison's relatively spammable versus his team, and the things that I can't hit with Poison moves, such as the Magearna, as well as the Nihilego, I have coverage for. Like, I have Flamethrower for the Magearna, I have Hidden Power Ground for the Nihilego. Nasty Plot, obviously, very nice if I can pull off a Nasty Plot sweep and he possibly doesn't have any Scarfers. Like, I can set up a Nasty Plot, and then after a little bit of damage on Latias and after a little bit of damage on Nihilego, I'll be able to sweep the majority of his team, which is very nice. Also, if he brings Crawdaunt, I have to make sure that's gone so he can't pick me off with Aqua Jet. And then, of course, Hidden Power Ground just for the Nihilego. I won't be able to knock it out from full. I need a Nasty Plot up in order to knock him out if he's not a Solbest or Shuca Berry. But regardless, if I can get some damage off onto it, I can knock it out with a +2 Hidden Power Ground. Or if he's not a Solbest, I just need a little bit of damage so I can hit him with an HP Ground and knock him out. Once again, same set that I brought last time. However, it didn't hit the field, and I think if it does hit the field in this game, it'll be able to put in a lot of work. So now that we've covered the 4 Pokemon that are the exact same, we are going to go into a couple of the differences, and you'll notice one right here. Obviously, we don't have Bisharp this game. We are instead bringing our Buzzwole, and we are bringing a Choice Scarf Buzzwole. Bisharp still has a decent matchup in this game, but there are a few too many things that I really don't like about it. For one, I kind of have to bring Scarf again, just because he has things like Well, I don't have to bring Scarf, but Bisharp is still relatively good versus his team. However, it was just kind of tough to fit it on this team, and there are still risks to bringing it. Like, for example, sure, I can deal with the Celebi, but Celebi outspeeds me and can hit me with an Earth Power, knock me out, and then it becomes a 50-50. Like, I can go for Sucker Punch, but maybe he's a sub-Celebi, and that's going to be a very big issue for me. He could bring Magearna, and Magearna takes any hit and then steps up on me, which is very unfortunate. Nihilego. Even if Nihilego is there, I have to get chip damage off onto it before I can knock it out with Sucker Punch, and then he can knock me out with the Hidden Power Fighting if he decides to run it. Even things like Latias and Celebi, they could be running Colbur Berry to possibly take a hit and then knock me out with super effective coverage. So even though it could be really good in this game, it was just kind of tough for me to bring because I had brought it before. It was kind of an annoying thing for his team. I'm sure he's going to prep for it again. And I actually decided to bring Buzzwole instead because this can do a lot of work versus Lars' team. We're running enough speed so that we can outspeed everything on his team, which is very nice. We can outspeed a max speed Timid, Tornadus, Incarnate. We outspeed everything on his team unless it is Choice Scarf, which is going to be very nice. Superpower, Leech Life, Earthquake, and Poison Jab is pretty much all the coverage that we need. I debated having Ice Punch just because I can hit the Tornadus Incarnate a little bit harder, but it didn't really hit anything else on his team. It hits the Donphan, but Superpower hits that a little bit harder. Buzzwole is something that can definitely sweep him late game. It switches into a good majority of his team. It can take on the Heracross relatively well, which is very nice. It can take a hit from the Lucario if it's physical, which is really nice. It can take even like an unboosted Acrobatics. It can take from the Tornadus. It can take anything from the Crawdaunt, which is really nice. Even plus like 3 Aqua Jet will not be able to knock me out, which is really nice. And then I can knock it out with a Leech Life, get a lot of recovery off. It's also very possible I could just send this into late game sweep. Like, Superpower is not something that he happily switches into. Like, yes, he does have the Latias, but that doesn't want to switch in on Leech Life. The Heracross, is not the bulkiest thing in the world. It's not frail, but it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, and it's not something that I'd assume he wants to switch directly into Buzzwole, just because unless he has Aerial Ace, he won't be able to touch me. The Donphan, once again, can kind of switch in, but it doesn't have recovery, and it doesn't necessarily want to switch in, and he doesn't really touch me back, which is very nice. Lucario obviously doesn't want to switch in. Primarina can switch in, however, if it switches in on Poison Jab, that's really nice for me, because I will be able to 2-hit KO it easily. Rotom Heat doesn't switch in on Superpower, Celebi doesn't switch in on Leech Life, Tornadus doesn't really want to switch in on me at all. Like, even after Rocks, like, Superpower should be a 2-hit KO depending on what he is. And I'm pretty sure I 2-hit KO with Poison Jab regardless, which is very nice. And then he has the Crawdaunt, which doesn't want to switch into me ever. So this is a very big threat to his team. Plus, not to mention, as long as I'm not locking myself into Superpower, like if I lock myself into Poison Jab or Leech Life and that coverage hits the rest of his team, if I get a kill, that's +1 attack, and he's going to have even a harder time trying to switch into me, which is very, very nice. So I'm really looking forward to using this set. I did bring a similar set versus Crimson Week 1, and it was able to put in a ton of work, so hopefully it'll be able to do the same thing. Next up, we have our Zygarde 50%. Now, this is still a very big threat to his team, however, I did have to change this up a bit. As you can see here, we are actually going to be a Dragon Dance Life Orb variant. We're going to be Aura Break, made sure of that. But we are going to be Life Orb with 1000 Arrows, Extreme Speed, Crunch, and Dragon Dance. So, I'm not bringing Bandit again, because even though it could be very good versus his team, he does have things now like the Heracross as well as the Celebi that can kind of beat me. What's really nice is if he's expecting Choice Band once again, he's pretty much forced out into Celebi. There's nothing else he wants to go into, there's nothing else he wants to take damage on. So, I can expect Celebi, go for the Dragon Dance, and then 2-hit KO him with Life Orb Crunch at +1, which is going to be very nice. And Celebi has nothing in its arsenal to OHKO me, which is going to be really, really nice for me. This is also something that can definitely sweep through him. Like, +1 Life Orb 1000 Arrows hurts his team quite a bit. It'll do a ton of damage to Primarina, it'll knock out the Rotom Heat, it'll knock out the Tornadus after Rocks. It can knock out the Latias after Rocks, depending on its spread. It can knock out the Magearna. It can do a ton of damage to Heracross, and Heracross can't OHKO me anyway, plus I have Extreme Speed to pick it off if it's Scarfed. There's just a huge threat versus his team. Like, Zygarde is still a very good threat against his team, it's just this time we need to bring a different set, not only to throw him off, but also because with the changes in his team, this is a little bit more of an efficient set, I think. Because with Crunch, I will be able to 2-hit KO his Celebi, which is going to be really, really nice. So that is going to be the team. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Check out Lars in the description below if you have not done so already. And I hope you are looking forward to the game. It's definitely going to be a fun one. Rematches are always tough, but we're going to do our best. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you then.